Let's look at Greek roots. Our root this week is para. This is a prefix used at the beginning of words. Para. Para means beside or next to. What words can you think of that have this prefix? I bet you already know some words, even if you didn't realize it. Let's start with some examples from school. You can find this prefix, para, in several different courses. Take a look at the lines of the wire. They will never ever cross because the lines are parallel. Parallel means lying alongside, not touching. This comes from the Greek part para, beside, and allelon, of another, beside another. You might see the word parallel in math class when you look at lines. You might look at parallel in PE class as you set up for a game. It means alongside, not touching. Paraphrase. You've definitely heard this in ELA class, and you've probably heard it in social studies and science class when you're asked to take information and put it in your own words. To paraphrase means to reword something that was written or spoken by someone else. It comes from the Greek para, beside, and phrasein, which means tell. So, for example, we have a text about Willy Wonka, and it replaces words that are highlighted with other phrases that have the same meaning. Paraphrase. What about some words you may know from other places in your life outside of school? Paranoia. You may be more familiar with the adjective form paranoid. Paranoia is an unjustified suspicion or mistrust of other people. It comes from the Greek para, beside, and nous, mind, beside your mind. Okay, people who have paranoia often see things or hear things that are not real. This is often how people described mental illness in the past. They were beside their mind, not in their right mind. Parasite. You may know this word from science class if you're studying biology. A parasite is an organism that lives on or inside another organism, called the host, and gets its nutrients from the host. So you can see an example on the bottom of a leech on a human. It's sucking the blood from a human to stay alive. The example on the top has an insect that has a larva parasite on top of it. The word parasite comes from the Greek para, beside, and cytos, which means food. Parable. A parable is a simple story for teaching a lesson or a moral. And it comes from the Greek para, beside, and bowl, to throw. And what it means is you're telling a story, who, what, when, where, why, but the parable has like a hidden message or lesson. These exist in many cultures. Some of the most famous are parables from Jesus. So the example on the top is the Good Samaritan, and the example on the bottom is often called the parable of the Good Sower. Okay, it's a short story that has a meaning beside the events. Again, para, beside, bowl, throw. Sometimes para means beside, as in secondary, slightly less of importance. Paralegal. So in the picture, you can see a lawyer or a judge, okay, who is a law professional, and next to them is their paralegal. A paralegal is also a legal assistant. They help lawyers prepare for work. To be a paralegal, you do not go to law school. You do not have to go to college. You do have to be over 18 and you need a certificate to pass a test. Paramedic. Look at the example of the ambulance. An ambulance has medical professionals who help in emergencies. They are not doctors. They have not gone to medical school, but they work beside doctors in emergencies. Paramedic. Okay? To be a paramedic, you need to pass the EMT exam and take some courses. Most of this coursework can be done in community colleges, and you get an associate's degree. Para-educator, also known as a para-professional. These are the people who work beside certified teachers to help students. You may see them in our building working with one student at a time or with a small group of students. They're not responsible for grades or phone calls home, but they are helping the teacher make sure all students are learning. To be a paraeducator, to work alongside the teacher, you do need to have a high school diploma, and many paraeducators take that job as they are working towards becoming a fully licensed teacher.